guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Eva. I'm doing this channel as a way to document for myself and as a way to share for anyone who might be interested in doing ADF. If you've been thinking about doing ADF, if you're already doing ADF and you're looking for a different perspective, a new perspective, that is why I decided to start this channel. I have been doing ADF since February of 2022. We are now in June, it's June 5th as I make this video, so I've been doing ADF for the last 5 months, and I'm happy to say that ADF has been really successful for me, and I lost a considerable amount of weight, and I am very proud of myself. The way that I found ADF was kind of on accident. I had done OMAD before, and I had done intermittent fasting before. I had done keto in the past. And so the feeling of fasting was not an unfamiliar feeling. And when I found ADF, I was like, oh my God, I can totally do this. When I say that I started accidentally, what I mean by that is I originally was actually going to do OMAD. I wasn't going to do OMAD keto, which is what I had done in the past. I was just going to do OMAD and do it for as long as I needed to until I lost the weight and I got to my goal. However, the first day of my fasting, which I remember was a Saturday, I fasted until my eating window, and then when my eating window came, I wasn't hungry, so I went to bed. And then the next day, I did another fast. I did an all-day fast, and my eating window came and went, and I still wasn't hungry, so I went to sleep. And then the third day, I was gonna do OMAD, and I actually did OMAD that day. I ended up feeling too tired and too hungry by the end of the day, and as I typically did in the past, I had my eating window between 8 and 9, and I ate, and then I went to bed. And that day, I remember during the day kind of looking into fasting because I was already familiar with OMAD, but I was like, okay, well, I haven't eaten this is now day 3 of me not eating, and I'm not like exhausted. I don't feel terrible. I'm not extremely hungry. So I started looking into it, and I found Colleen. And shout out to Colleen, she is fasting queen. She is my inspiration, and I know that if you've looked into ADF here on YouTube, you've probably found her videos as well. I found her videos and I instantly decided that I was gonna do ADF because traditional ways of losing weight, like the popular ways of losing weight, like exercising, are not something that I am good at. I have done OMAD in the past, and I was doing keto while on OMAD, and I was pretty good at it. And the reason I stopped wasn't because I was sick and tired of it or because I just could not do it anymore, but it was actually because I got pregnant and I didn't want to do any kind of weight loss while pregnant, so I stopped. And that was in 2019. After my pregnancy and then giving birth to my daughter and then going through postpartum during COVID. My daughter was born in June of 2020, so it was at the height of COVID. I had a really rough postpartum, and that's when the weight started piling on. By last summer, so the summer of 2021, my daughter was now 1 year old, and I think at that point I weighed the most I've ever weighed in my entire life. I was afraid of stepping on the scale, and to be honest, I even blocked out what my weight was when I would go for my doctor checkups. Like, I don't even remember, and I don't want to even look through the paperwork because I know that I had hit 200 pounds, and I had never ever weighed that much in my entire life. And you would think that that would be a wake-up call for me, but it wasn't. It truly wasn't. I continued on a self-sabotaging journey. I continued on with my bad habits that I knew were not conducive to me losing weight or to me not gaining any more weight, and I just kept going and going. And finally, at the beginning of this year, I decided I was going to do something about it, and that's how I ended up doing OMAD, what was supposed to be OMAD, which turned into ADF. Unlike keto, unlike OMAD, unlike intermittent fasting, ADF has changed my life, and not only changed my life in terms of the weight that I've lost, but also in the way that I think of myself, and it's empowered me in a way that I just didn't expect. I cook every single day, and I cook sometimes multiple times a day, and having the ability to look at food and not eat it and just say like, okay, I can eat this food, I just won't eat it today, I'll just eat it tomorrow, is such an empowering feeling, and it's so hard to put into words how strengthening it feels and how empowering, that's the word that I keep going back to, is empowering. How empowering it feels to know that I can have some sort of control over my weight loss. It's not accidental. It's not forced onto me. I don't need someone to keep me accountable. I don't need to feel like I'm climbing this big mountain and it's every day is a struggle. I don't feel like that. To me, tomorrow, for instance, is a fasting day. Mondays are my fast days. I don't feel like I can't do it. I'm not dreading tomorrow. I'm not like, oh my God, today's the only day that I can eat, so I need to get all the food in that I know I'm not going to eat tomorrow. I don't feel like that anymore. I did used to feel like that, and I can talk about that in a different video. But there was a time at the beginning where I was like, all right, I need to save all this food because I know I'm not going to eat it. The more into my journey that I've gotten, the more it's like, if I don't eat it, fine, I'll just eat it another day. And that's the kind of mindset that I'm in, where I don't feel out of control of food. I feel in control of what I'm eating, of what I'm putting in my body, of what time I get to eat. And there has just been a lifestyle change and a mentality change, which is what I kind of wanted when I got into this journey, was to not just have control over my weight loss, but to have also control over food itself, and food and alcohol. That's a story for another day, but alcohol definitely had a part to play in this. But ADF has given me the shift in mindset that I truly needed and that I didn't even expect, because I had no idea what ADF was when I first started this journey. Leaning into your strengths during ADF is definitely something that is very important. For me, I know one of my strengths is just knowing that I don't have to eat this food right now. I can just wait till tomorrow. I know that if I'm cooking and I happen to taste the food to see how it tastes, I'm not going to be tempted to want to eat a whole meal, because I do cook every single day, and sometimes I cook multiple times a day, or I'm giving my kids snacks, I'm taking them out to eat, or whatever the case is. I know that I'm constantly surrounded by cooking or food, and even if I take a bite to taste how the food tastes, I'm not tempted to want to sit down and eat. And so I lean into that strength, and that's something that I'm constantly going to do in my journey with ADF, is just leaning into what I know that I'm good at, and kind of not putting so much emphasis on the things that I know that I'm not good at. What I mean by that is the gym, me and exercise are just not. We're just not. I know that that's one of my weaknesses, is using exercise as a form of weight loss. So I'm not leaning into that as much as I'm leaning into what I know to be my strength. So now I'm going to talk about what my fast days look like. My fast days are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then my feast days are Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Sometimes I don't do 3 days fasting. Sometimes I'll only do 2, but then there are other weeks where I'll do 4-day fasting. I'll do a fast on Monday, then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then back to eating on Saturday, Sunday. It just depends on how I feel. But for the most part, on average, I do 3-day fasts on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So I do what is considered dirty fasting because I am not going to give up coffee. I have to have creamer in my coffee, and that's just one of the things going into this that I knew that I was not going to give up. I drink 2 to 3 cups of coffee a day, and I put creamer in them, so not a clean fast. I do the Polar sparkling waters, which have some form of like flavors in them. They don't have any calories, and there's no added sugars or anything like that, but it's not considered a clean fast if you drink those. So I'm typically drinking a couple of cups of coffee a day. I'm doing water, plain water, and then I'm also doing seltzer water. Of course, we can't talk about fast days without talking about feast days. My feast days nowadays look something like this. I usually wake up around 7:30. I have some water or some coffee, and then I typically eat breakfast at around 11 to 12 o'clock. I usually don't get hungry until about that time. Then I will make myself some eggs, some veggies, some sort of meat in there. Sometimes I'll even do like a little salad, and then that will hold me over until dinner time. And then for dinner, I will just have whatever we're having as a family for dinner that night. I'm a night owl, so sometimes I eat way later than I should be, like at 10 or 11 o'clock at night. And then that's when my fast begins again, and then I will just sleep, wake up the next day, drink coffee and water for the rest of the day, and then I go to sleep, and then I wake up the next day and I eat. Saturdays and Sundays, of course, look different because I don't fast on the weekends. So on the weekends, I just eat as I normally would. Sunday is our day for eating takeout and eating fast food. So we do fast food on the weekends. Typically on Sunday, we'll do lunch out and also dinner out, or we'll order takeout. So Sunday is kind of like my cheat day, but then again, it's not like I'm trying to eat clean anyways on my other days of the week that I'm eating. So it's not really cheating, it's just eating normally, I guess, for me, because that's something that I did before I did ADF. Was Sundays has always been our date to kind of like eat dirty and eat takeout or go get lunch or something. I'm sure if I did a true ADF schedule, I would lose more weight, but this is not a race for me. It's more of a marathon. So I'm not so annoyed if my weight loss is not instant and it's not super quick. I'm more interested in doing something that I can sustain over the long run, and something that I can always fall back to if I start to gain weight again. After I get to my goal weight, if I start to gain weight again, I know that I have something in my tool belt that I can easily take out and use it to lose weight again or to maintain my weight loss. Something else that I wanted to talk about in today's video is the fact that my mindset has drastically changed since I started. When I first started, I was kind of the same way that I was when I did OMAD, where I would obsess all day about what I would eat, is what I started doing when I started doing ADF. I was constantly thinking about food. I was constantly thinking about what I would eat on my feast day, and I was obsessed with it. That's all I would think about all day. On my feast days, on my fast days, all week long, I was thinking about food all the time. And something that's happened over time, and I feel like it's happened to a lot of people that have done this lifestyle over time, is that I stopped thinking about it like that. Nowadays, even if I miss out on one of my favorite foods that we're eating that day, I don't feel the need to eat it the next day. I don't feel the need to hoard food and keep food in the fridge for my feast days. That feeling is gone, and now I'm just like, if I don't eat it, it is what it is. I'll eat it when I get a chance, or I'll eat it the next time we eat it, or maybe I'll save it, maybe I won't. It doesn't bother me so much when I miss out on meals that we're eating that day. And unlike other diets that I've seen or have tried, there is no limit to what you can eat on your feast days. You're not being told to not eat bread. You're not being told to not eat this or that or the other, or to watch your carb intake. You're just eating whatever you feel like eating, right? And there's so much freedom to that. For me, I know that I am someone who typically eats healthy. When I'm thinking about the foods that I'm eating, I try to eat vegetables. I try to have a balanced meal where I have a protein, I have a carb, and I have a vegetable. And that's something that I've done throughout my 20s. But during the time postpartum, after I had my daughter, I was on a self-sabotage journey where I didn't care what I was eating. And that's how I ended up gaining all this weight. I didn't care how much I was eating. I didn't care how much alcohol I was drinking. I didn't care what time of the day that I was eating the largest amount of my meals. I just didn't care. I was literally self-sabotaging almost on purpose. And I don't know why. I think I was just so overwhelmed with COVID, with having a new baby during COVID, and also having a 4-year-old and doing homeschooling with him. It was just a lot. And I was also working full-time on top of all of that. So I was just in a very negative mind space, and I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna add fuel to the fire and eat unhealthy amounts of foods. I was eating takeout. I was doing all the fast food. I didn't want to care. And I was self-sabotaging on purpose. And I was just dealing with a lot. And the way that I decided that I was going to make things better was to self-sabotage myself. I don't know. But I got to the point where I was tired of it, and I needed to make a lifestyle change because I didn't want to enter my 30s in that mindset. All in all, I would say that ADF is successful. ADF really works, and it doesn't just work for those 10 pounds that you lose instantly. It also works long term. I also want to quickly say that I haven't done ADF for the past 5 months like straight. There was a time that I got sick at the end of April, and I was sick for what I thought was going to be 1 week with a cold that turned out to not be a cold, but it also turned out to not be corona. It wasn't the Rona, although I had all the symptoms of it. I had the coughing, I had the fatigue, I had the chills, I had all the symptoms of COVID minus the test to show that I actually had COVID. And so what was supposed to be a 1 week cold turned out to be like a 3 week thing where I was not fasting. I stopped fasting completely. I was just like, I'll start fasting again when I start to feel better. So for those 3 weeks I didn't fast. And then towards the end of the week, my end of the week is on Sunday. So towards the end of the week, that Monday, I had it in my head that I was gonna fast, and that's exactly what I did. So I took off those 3 weeks, and then the following Monday I started fasting again. I fasted Monday, Wednesday, Friday as usual. And on Saturday, which Saturdays are my weigh-in day, I weighed in at 178 pounds, which is exactly how much weight I had been when I stopped fasting. So I didn't gain any weight during that time of not fasting. And let me tell you guys, I was not eating clean at all. I was eating all the junk food. I was eating all the comfort foods because I was just in such a sick place that I just didn't care what I was eating as long as I just felt comfort in the food that I was eating. So I didn't really pay attention to what I was eating. I wasn't counting my calories. I never have counted my calories while on ADF, which is such a freeing experience, y'all. Such a freeing experience. I got right back into it, and it's been about 3 weeks now since I started fasting again, and I'm back to losing weight. I lose about 1 pound a week, and that's been consistent over the last couple of months. The first 2 weeks of me doing ADF, the weight just melted off my body. I didn't have to even try. It was just coming off. Came off easy. And I was like, this is it. I'm convinced I'm doing this, period. But then after that, the weight loss kind of slowed down a little bit, and now I lose about 1 pound a week, which brings me into exactly how much weight I've lost since February. This is a little thing that I use to keep myself accountable. I also use MyFitnessPal to track my weight, but this is something fun that I get to color in every Saturday when I do my weigh-ins. And pretty much, other than the time that I was not fasting when I was sick, I pretty much have lost about 1 pound a week. And every Saturday I get to color in one of these boxes. I know that 21 pounds doing ADF might not seem like a lot of weight to you guys, but for me, this is not a race. I'm not racing to lose weight, okay? This has changed from just being a weight loss thing to being a lifestyle change. And I'm now thinking about the future, long term, and I know that I will be doing ADF at that time. And I feel so emboldened in this lifestyle that I'm even making a channel about it, which I've never done any type of content at all about weight loss. Even when I was doing keto and OMAD and I was pretty good at it, I still didn't feel as emboldened. I didn't feel like that was a lifestyle change. To me, that was a diet. I wasn't changing my life in the long run. I was just doing it to lose the weight, and then I would get to my goal weight and then I would stop. I don't think I'll ever stop fasting because not only does it have weight loss benefits, but it also has health benefits, which I've just recently started to look into. And so I don't think that I will ever stop fasting in some way. And going back to this, since I've made this in February, I decided that 168 was no longer my goal, and I actually want to be in the 140s. This is how much weight that I had lost when I was doing OMAD and keto, and I had gotten to the 140s, and I felt great, and I felt so confident in my body. Not that I don't feel confident in my body now, but I just felt better. So I'm really rethinking doing this over and adding more numbers here at the bottom so that my goal is anywhere below 150 pounds. And that's not something that I expected when I first started doing this. If you're thinking about doing ADF, definitely do it. At least try to do intermittent fasting, even if you don't successfully do ADF, and then eventually one day you will be able to do a 36-hour fast, and you'll get to reap all the benefits of the weight loss and also the mentality shift. Thank you so much for watching this video and listening to my journey. I definitely think I'll be making more content, especially about what I eat in a day, because I want to have another opinion out there about what people who are fasting do on their eat days and on their fast days. And I also want to get into fitness and exercise. Although I said I'm not good at exercise, I do think that there is value in attempting to do exercise along with ADF. So that's a journey that I will get to when I get to. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.